As India claims the title of the world's most populous nation, it also grapples with escalating pollution levels. Despite economic growth, the weight of waste management and segregation remains a pressing concern. India at 100 series endeavours to confront these challenges and discuss viable solutions to address this emerging problem. Presented by DCM Shriram Foundation with knowledge partner the Indian School of Development Management, the show will address these key issues that directly impact socio-economic growth conditions in the waste management sector. So let's take a look.
Waste management. India's rapid urbanization, population growth and economic progress have led to a waste crisis. Inadequate waste management infrastructure has caused extensive garbage buildup in urban and rural areas. Various sources including households, industries and agriculture contribute to waste generation. To tackle this, the government initiated the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan in 2014, focusing on rural waste management. Urban India generates around 0.15 million tons of municipal solid waste (MSW) daily, with projections indicating a worrisome increase. Non-biodegradable waste like electronic waste is rising due to urbanization and affluence. Let's understand from the experts on why there's an urgent need to actively tackle this issue.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to India at 100. My name is Gaurav Shah and I'm a co-founder at the Indian School of Development Management. On this episode today, we will be talking about solid and liquid waste management in India. And to discuss this, we have Natasha Patel, CEO, India Sanitation Coalition at FICCI. Welcome to ISDM, Natasha.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Natasha, why don't we start by understanding what this term really means? So what does solid and liquid waste management mean and why is it so important to address today?
So complex and liquid waste management, as the term denotes, is basically the solid part of waste management, which comprises of municipal waste, hazardous waste, and industrial waste. And liquid waste management is basically your grey water that comes out of your bathrooms and your kitchens, and also your municipal water like parks and things like that, as well as your black water which comes out of your toilets. So that's really solid and liquid waste, right? It could be either rural or urban. Now, why is this important? I think it's very, it's literally hitting us in the face today. Why is it hitting us in the face? Let me give you some interesting numbers. So effectively, if you look at the total amount, just one number of municipal solid waste, it is around 152 million tons per day. And how much of it do we process? Only 10%.
Wow.
So you see the size of this. And I'm sure that every urban citizen, has had a view of the huge mountains of solid waste that are there outside every city in India today. Another data point that will interest you is that we are actually we meaning India is actually 20% of the SDG 6 problem. So if we do not address our sanitation issues, then the world will not be able to address their issues globally. And I think that is the very critical number that we need to constantly keep reminding people of.
What is the intersectionality of SLWM with other social issues like education, health, climate, etc.? And how does it add to the complexity of looking at solutions for this?
I'll give you an example of a very interesting project that we are currently working on with the Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation this is in rural India, where we started out thinking that we will look at the solid and liquid waste management infrastructure within a village. And very quickly we realized that the infrastructure was actually one of, a very small part of the overall problem. The real problem is in behavior change, as well as looking at it from an integrated perspective. So you're looking at health, you're looking at education, you're looking at gender, which is women and children through whom, these issues are actually dealt with. You're looking at livelihoods. So it's actually a whole gamut of different sectors that get impacted. And what is critical also to understand is that when we are budgeting for sanitation, the government has given us a fantastic budget. I have nothing to complain about there. But do we have similar budgets for all the other sectors? Because this actually impinges on other sectors as well.
There are various aspects of this issue, right? Is there a thought framework or an approach framework that you have in mind which will actually help us approach this issue in a more structured manner?
What has happened, and we've seen success in this place, is that the government is very good at actually taking care of the infrastructure. And that is something we should allow them to do because that's their role, right? But where the private sector comes in is where they actually run these behavior change programs. And they can do this for years because they live in the communities in which they spend their CSR funding. So we are actually driving these public-private partnerships to a large extent so that it becomes something which is embedded within these communities.
What is your vision for SLWM, for India at 100 or India in 2047? And what would reality look like if as a nation we are able to solve this problem better?
A lot of the corporates who are now showing an enhanced interest in coming into this space, either through management of plastic circularity or through management of FSTPs, that are the fecal sludge management plants. These corporates will become more and more, and they will actually take on a much bigger role around the management of these processes. The other thing that will happen is that your sanitation worker has to get integrated. So there will no longer be something like a sanitation worker, but we will have transportation of sludge, for example, and that will become a small MSME. Or we will have a small MSME running an MRF, which is a material recovery facility. There are various parts of this that will then become commercialized. And this is the real success story, where instead of waste continuing to remain as waste, it will become waste to wealth. That's the story that I hope to see by 47. But it won't be over.
Thank you so much, Natasha. I think that was very, very insightful and very useful.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now let's take a look at some work which is happening on the ground to address this crucial issue.
The waste management project in Nathuawala, Dehradun changed how the community handles waste. They focused on teaching everyone to handle trash better. They realized that waste is their responsibility, not just the government's job. The project became sustainable with low capital investment support by the government. The project tried to bridge the gap between citizens and waste through waste awareness activities, develop ownership towards their waste. The team makes sure to follow the proper routine, timing, and schedule for waste collection. Once the waste is collected at source, it is taken to the sanitation park for further processing. The dry waste is further segregated into 30 fractions and linked to recyclers for recycling. The wet waste is processed for composting through the nadder pit method and vermicomposting method. The horticulture waste is processed separately in the park. The ward practices more than 95% source segregation and is able to divert approx 18,91,000 kgs of waste from landfill.
ये हमारा डिसेंट्रलाइज मॉडल है और ये एक सेल्फ सस्टेनेबल मॉडल है, लो कॉस्ट है। वो इसलिए कि हम लोग यहीं से जो हमारे पास सिर्फ नगर निगम ने गाड़ियाँ प्रोवाइड की हैं और जो हमारा एनजीओ है फीडबैक फाउंडेशन, ये जो एनजीओ काम कर रहा है अभी फ़िलहाल, इसमें हमारे यहाँ जो भी हमारा वेस्ट होता है, इससे जो यूज़र चार्जेस आ रहे हैं या हमारा जो कंपोस्ट बिक रही है या हमारा ड्राई वेस्ट जो रिसाइकलिंग के लिए जा रहा है वेंडर्स लेके जाते हैं, वो जो पैसा है वो ओवरऑल जो पैसा है वो यहीं वार्ड में ही उसी को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हैं। यहीं पे जो एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं वो काम जो करते हैं उनको सैलरी भी यहीं से ही मिल रही है। तो एक तरीके का ये सेल्फ सस्टेनेबल मॉडल है, मतलब आप यहीं पर जो वेस्ट है उसको आप यहीं रिड्यूस कर रहे हैं, यहीं प्रोसेसिंग कर रहे हैं और इवन जो आपका पैसा आ रहा है वो आपका पैसा इसी में यूज़ हो रहा है। वाकई में एक बहुत अच्छा मॉडल है। लोग विश्वास नहीं करते हैं जब एंट्री करते हैं कि हम एक प्रोसेसिंग प्लांट में जा रहे हैं, एक एमआरएफ सेंटर में जा रहे हैं। आप एमआरएफ सेंटर के पास खड़े भी नहीं हो सकते हैं अगर प्रोसेसिंग अच्छे से नहीं हो रही है।
What's more commendable is how they solved the problems which everyone thought were too big. People used to worry about space for waste which would smell bad. But they found solutions, developed the facility in the form of a sanitation park where children can play while managing waste together in the same place. This project proved that with teamwork and smart ideas, we can manage waste better and make our place cleaner and healthier.
Waste generation is a very serious reality in modern living for both urban and rural areas. Partnerships across state, market and society are going to be critical in solving an issue of this magnitude. We need to add technological, behavioral and humanitarian lenses to create solutions that are more holistic and move beyond the provision of just infrastructure. This will help us deliver the need for a cleaner and healthier India.